Hello and welcome to yet another week of Knit Chit Chat. So this is where we just hang out and knit and chat for an hour about life and knitting and whatever comes up. So if you don't know who I am Jessica of Snickerdoodle Knits. I am the pattern designer and design mentor behind Snickerdoodle Knits and also the facilitator of the design circle. So hello, I see our first person live has joined. I'm excited to have you here. What are you working on today? What are you knitting? And we have another person. Welcome. What are you working on today? What are you knitting? Let me know in the comments. I thought I'd share that I have made a little more progress on my cardigan. This is the Maema Cardigan, M-A-E-M-A by Pip Pin. And I've just been working on it mostly during these calls and during a knit night thingy that I've been going to. So yeah, what's on your needles? I'm actually going to be working on something else while we chat, because I have a design that is in progress and needing to get to test knitting. So this is actually not the yarn I'm doing the actual sample in, but I still don't have that yarn. So I decided to go ahead and do it in another yarn because this sample is actually, this design is actually, I think I've been calling it like a choose your own adventure design. No knitting here. COVID's still kicking my butt. I'm so sorry. But have you been knitting? What's the last project you've been knitting on? Or are you doing dream knitting? So this design, the idea is there are several different textures you can choose from, and you can choose your own yarn weight, and you can choose how often you change yarn colors and all of that stuff. So it's like super flexible. So I thought, well, I could go ahead and knit up a sample in a different weight yarn. It is a little bit funny because I have been following the idea of the pattern. It's called In a Mood, and so it's all about like you do whatever you're in the mood for. So changing textures according to your mood, changing yarn colors, all of that. And so it's not necessarily the most, like, makes sense design-wise the most, but it's been a lot of fun, and I know that when I wear it, it's gonna look just fine. But it's a lot of fun, and this is an Aran weight. I actually want to do the actual sample in DK weight, and this is some swatching and fingering weight. And then I also plan to do a couple different cowl patterns as well using the same thing. So it'll be good for testing because folks only have to test the stitches. It doesn't like they have to finish an actual project, but it is making me a little bit nervous. Last project was the January Sock Club design, which was fun to try and write a pattern while having COVID. Oh man, yes. I saw Steph is here, and I don't remember your name, I'm sorry. Irish M from NJ, and Helen Kennedy. So hello and welcome, folks. And for new folks hopping on, what are you knitting on? Are you working on anything in particular, or what projects have you been working on lately? Oh, I decided to go ahead and wear my hope shawl since I forgot of it again last week. This is a crescent shaped shawl that is light and airy and lots of lace, and it's part of the Guiding Principles collection that I've been talking about. So it doesn't sound like anybody else has knitting projects to talk about. Do you want to share 3 words to describe your week? How has your week been? I think it's a fun exercise I've been doing you choose 3 words to describe how your week's been. And don't feel bad if it feels like you're bragging or if it feels like you're complaining. Don't attach any, you don't have to attach that kind of emotion to it. It's just an observation, kind of fun. My 3 words for this week were inspiring, productive, and enjoyable. Had a pretty good week. One thing that I've been doing this week is I've been a lot more intentional about my screen time. So I have I haven't made myself, but I've created a guideline for myself where I don't let myself open Instagram, email, or Discord. And Discord is the app that I chat with Design Circle folks and a few other knitting groups and stuff in there. I haven't been allowing myself to open any of those 3 apps until at least 11:30 in the morning. So then I have a chance to look at it before lunch, but I'm not focused on it during the day. And it's been interesting to observe my habits, how often I pick up my phone to check something, because I am very interested in talking to people and helping people if they have questions, and just connecting, and I find it really exciting, and so I like to check in on the apps all the time. But I have realized that when I don't do that, because I was getting into a bad habit of opening them while I was in bed, and then I spend a lot longer in bed because I'm working, but I'm in bed, but I'm actually just on social media apps, even though I am helping and talking to people. Anyway, kind of had become this whole thing that I wasn't loving. I wanted to change, and so I set this boundary for myself, and I've realized that it has made my mornings, I feel a lot more calm, a lot less anxious, just have a lot more relaxing mornings, which I really like, where I'm not feeling like I have to be doing something right away. And then once I get into my work, I'm able to focus really well. And so yeah, that's something that I've been enjoying this week. So for the folks just hopping on, let us know what you're knitting on or working on projects, whatever, recently, even if you don't have it with you right now. And then share your 3 words for the week. So I shared that my 3 words were inspiring, productive, and enjoyable. And then on top of this whole new boundary thing that I've been doing, I hope that this isn't annoying. Are my needles clicking annoying when I'm chatting? I noticed that yesterday. I hosted Hannah Thiessen, I think is how you say her last name, of Hannibal Knits yesterday, and I was knitting. And so I'm hoping that the needles aren't annoying, because they're metal needles and they're big enough that you can they're actually clicking enough that it's audible, you can hear it. Yeah, so in addition to that, I also attended a workshop thing yesterday and today with Lisa Simone Richards, who is expert in PR stuff, whether that's television stuff or podcasts or stuff like that. Oh no, I'm sorry, Maria Elise. Is anybody else having problems with the video cutting off? I've been having trouble with that. So actually this workshop that I was talking about, I was having lots of trouble with that. She was going live in Facebook, and it kept cutting out on me. I don't know if changing to a different device would help, because I know with that it seemed like it was fine to watch on my phone, but it kept cutting out on my computer. I don't know if that would help or not, but yeah, so I attended this workshop because I have been trying to figure out how to get the word out more about the Design Circle, because it's the first thing that I'm really passionate about, as far as I know that there's a big need for this in the community, and I know how much it's helping folks that are inside, and so I really would like other folks to have the same kind of support. And so I've been trying to figure out, how do I even bring this to the attention of other people to even decide if they wanted to join or whatever. So yeah, that was really interesting and inspiring. Got me thinking about a lot of new and different things. Yeah. Also, if anybody's watching the replay, I wanted to share, feel free to leave comments there too. Let me know what you're working on. Tell me share your three words for the week, all of that kind of stuff. Because like I said, I do love connecting. And yeah. So let's see, what else? Oh, I forgot last week I was going to share, as part of what happened last week, I became an aunt for the first time. So it's my in-laws side. It's not my side of the family, but yeah, we have a new nephew. We're supposed to meet him next month. But that was exciting. Of course, all the cute pictures coming in, and started spoiling him a little bit with some gifts we bought online that were delivered to them. So that was a fun little personal thing happening. Another personal thing this week is my sister. So my sister was here for 4 weeks, and I've shared that like she's 7 years younger than me, so we weren't super close growing up, but now that she's like college age, that she's in her first year of college right now, the last year and a half or so, we've kind of gotten a lot closer and able to connect on a lot of levels and realizing how similar we are. But she's a freshman in college, and has been studying architecture for her first semester. And I studied architectural engineering. So I had a bit of exposure to some architecture professors, knew kind of a little bit about what the industry was like and the demands of it. And she was struggling a lot with, especially the fact that she didn't have any time and wasn't getting much sleep, just with all of the demands of projects and things like that. And sleep is extremely important to her. I went through college with, probably average of 4 hours of sleep a night. And in my last semester of college, I figured out I was averaging over 80 hours a week that I was spending on schoolwork and internships and all of that kind of stuff. Like 80 to 100 hours, I think, is how much I was usually spending. So that's my background as a ridiculous workaholic. But the whole reason I'm telling this is she's really been struggling with that aspect. She's like, she loves the projects and the design work, but it's this whole taking care of herself and getting enough sleep thing that has been a big struggle. So anyway, she decided that she would wait until, I hope she doesn't mind me telling this story. I'm sure she won't watch this far into the video, but she decided that she would wait until she started classes again this semester to decide if she was actually going to drop it or not. And started classes a week ago Wednesday, and last weekend she got like 1 hour of sleep Sunday night. So anyway, long story short, she decided to drop architecture, and I'm really proud of her because I know that it's really difficult to kind of go against what folks tell you should do, what's like is considered honorable and things like that. Like it's a more prestigious kind of degree, and she's still in school. She's studying business now instead, but I know that there's a lot of connotation related to that. So I've just been feeling really proud of her and really excited to see her prioritize herself and her needs, even if maybe it's not what other people would tell her to do. So yeah. Let's see, what else has been going on? What's been going on in your life? What's new this week? This project that I'm working on, I had mentioned earlier that it's interesting because it's not like I've really designed the shawl. I am planning to like actually create three shawl designs that I will have inside of the pattern as recommendations if you don't want to just go with the flow. But with all of the online calls I've been on and stuff this week, I really kind of have just been going with the flow, and so it is a little bit difficult for me to look at it and, you know, like have some perfectionism stuff pop up that's like, oh, that like design wise that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it actually, I don't know, it's fun. And so I'm just kind of trying to set aside the perfectionism part of that and know that it'll actually be a really fun shawl when it's done. Your dad visited and my oldest daughter designed her first crochet tee, and it'll be featured in the second issue of More magazine. That is so exciting. I'm so glad your dad was able to visit. How long has it been since you've seen him? It's probably been a while. Well, I guess I don't know where he lives. And your oldest daughter, does she have an Instagram account for her designs and stuff? That is really exciting. And the More magazine, I used to watch a lot more podcasts on YouTube. And it's the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, KCACY, podcast. It's the daughter of the two that run that podcast that started More magazine. So I remember her sharing when she first had the idea. So it's been a lot of fun to see that come into fruition. And I know that she had talked about how a lot of the magazines are very much focused on knitting. There's not a whole lot of magazines just for crochet. So I think it's really cool what she's doing. I'm going to write down her handle here so that I can link it in the description after the video. But for anybody listening who doesn't want to go click the link, it's at ASAINTMALO. So a Saint Malo, something like that. I'm the worst with pronunciation. But your dad's visit was the first in 4 months. Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad we're able to see him. It's so, I don't know, it means a lot to be able to see family, doesn't it? Although I feel like it's so hard because then when they leave, it's like, oh, it's the hardest thing. I hate it, but it's so good to connect with them, of course. Saint Malo is a place in France where my ancestors are from. Okay, that's so cool. So is it Malo or Mallow? I don't know how you can tell me, but yeah, that's so neat. And do you know the name of the tee that she crocheted? I know they've been sharing the second, Mallow. Okay, cool, thanks. I know that they've been sharing sneak peeks of the More magazine, so that's really cool. And of course, crocheters, definitely go check that out. It's Marie Basse. I shouldn't be asking these questions when I know I'm not going to be able to. Oh, it means low tide. Okay, that's cool. That's really neat. I'm going to have to check that out. I'm not a crocheter. I mean, like, I've made a couple coasters and stuff, but not really interested in doing more of it. But I love seeing what people do with crochet. And yeah, I think the Banana Puss, who I don't know if she's still on or not, but I think she crochets as well. So crocheters, yeah, it says she's still on. Lauren. So for the crocheters, definitely go check out Morit. That's Moorit, a new magazine for crocheters that's out. And congratulations to Maria Lisa's daughter. Yeah, you do crochet. Okay, cool. Are you familiar with Morit magazine? And also, I'm trying to remember the names of the folks that had that podcast. It's Vivian and I don't remember the daughter's name, who's the one who started the magazine. But yes. Let's see, what else have I been working on this week? I had hosted the first Design Circle workshop today, which was a lot of fun. And Lauren, since you joined a little bit later, let us know what you're working on, whether that's right now, you're not, but you'd love to check it out. There's so few crochet magazines. Yeah, that's exactly why she started it. So let us know what you've been working on, crafting, whether you're working on it right now or you're working on it while you're watching. And the other prompt that I had was share 3 words to describe your week. And so then I've just been talking more about my week. And let me know if there's been anything exciting happening, like Maria Elise was sharing. So yeah, the Design Circle workshop, it was all about, what was it about? Organizing and prioritizing ideas. So a lot of organizing ideas and stuff, which I love. I'm a huge planner, organizer, all of that kind of thing. But it was really fun because we did it as a workshop where everybody interested just came on Zoom and we asked questions and shared ideas, and it was a lot more collaborative than like our guest speakers normally are. We usually have somebody come in who's an expert to talk about something. And so this was a lot more individualized and stuff like that. You're sneaking on during your lunch break, but I'm looking at starting the sea glass tea. Not sure if I want to do the crochet or the knit version though. That's fun. Do you know what colors you want to do it in? Because of course color is important. Yeah. Oh, I was going to share, I got giveaway bag for the giveaway that I'll be hosting at some point. And the bags are so cute, from Hikari. Oh, I'm so bad at pronunciation. Hikari, handmade. And they're so cute. I'll show them next time. But now I have yarn and I have pins and I have one bag for giveaway. She sent one for me. And so I'm just waiting on one more bag, and then I will put in some patterns for those 2 giveaways. That'll be fun. You have a bunch of deep green and blue yarns from Yarnaceous. That's fun. That'll be really pretty. And it totally goes with the sea theme, the ocean and water, and that's fun. Also, Nadira Tani, who's Kalisha, Nadir, Nadira, Atani, I think. I could actually put it in the chat here. She does multiple different crafts. Actually, she's the one who's making the other bag for me. Nadir, I think this is the right handle. She hosts a Pisces make-along during Pisces season every year, which starts February 19th until like March 20th. Is that the right dates? I know my sister and I are both Pisces, and those are our birthdays, and we're right at the edges. But anyway, so you can make anything that is kind of Pisces related. So blues and greens and stuff like that definitely are related if you're still working on your sea glass tea then. That'd be fun. If you're not familiar with Kalisha, highly recommend. She's another person I used to watch a lot of her podcasts on YouTube, and very, very genuine and kind. She's the person I mentioned last week who always talks about bright spots. So she has folks share in the comments bright spots, which are good things that have happened to them lately, made them smile, things like that. And then she'll share some of them on our podcast. So that's a lot of fun, just spreading the positivity and celebrating those things. So, Lauren, do you have, and anybody else who's on right now, 3 words to describe your week? I don't know how much you can, I don't know how long you'll be here, but yeah. Let's see. We're gonna run out of stuff to talk about, and I need some more topics here. The other thing I had on my list from this week was that I kind of had this whole realization that my business hasn't ever really been about knitting and design. Family, hope, and coal. I think coal was in last week too, wasn't it? Or maybe snow. I love that though. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Marie-Elise. Yeah, that's lovely. So yeah, it was I had just shared in the busy, work, and fun. That's good. I'm glad the fun was in there. Are you getting a bunch more snow right now, Marie-Elise? Some folks were saying on the workshop today that like Boston, Rhode Island area here on the East Coast is supposed to be getting tons of snow this weekend or tomorrow or something, like 20 inches of snow. Crazy. Hello, Catherine. Thanks for joining. Let us know. Oh, thank you. This is the Hope Shawl. You're getting a few more inches. Catherine, what was I saying? Oh, share with us what you have been working on, what your knitting project is, and if you have 3 words for the week. Just summarizing how your week's been. More snow coming next week. We actually still have a little bit of snow left in the yard, which is crazy to me. But yeah, we've had 2 different snows now, I think. I mean, like, we had a few different days, one weekend, and then yeah. But okay, so I was starting to say, I realized that like this business has never been about knitting and design, really. Which backstory is something I've kind of known and felt guilty about or ashamed to. You want to know how I can knit without looking? Probably a lot of practice, and it's especially easier when it's just knit stitch. Yeah, so I kind of felt like am I too loud for you? My husband was coming up for a call and now he's leaving again. Working on the bulky striped sweater with the cables of the sleeves for my daughter and hoping to finish it this weekend. That's fun. That's really fun. Yeah, so it was like I knew that there was more to what I was doing than just knitting and designing, but then I like couldn't put my finger on it, and yeah. So anyway, in the design circle this week, they were talking about snail mail. Somebody had mentioned that they miss snail mail, and I had said, well, if you miss it, if you want to not miss it anymore, you can join the pen pal swap, which I do quarterly, completely free for all fiber folks. Anyway, so somebody else commented and said something about how the way that I am constantly creating community amazes them. And at first it's like, okay, that sounds nice. Like that's sweet. I'm glad to hear that I'm doing what I've been wanting to do. But then the next morning I woke up and I was thinking about this. Like, why is this whole community thing so important to me? And pieced together a bunch of puzzle pieces that I had thought about before, but just hadn't quite drawn the line so clearly. And part of that was that in college, when I had a lot of depression, I realized that what made me feel better in a lot of cases was connecting with people, realizing that they cared about me, I cared about them, really exchanging that connection, having meaningful connections and relationships. And so what I started doing was, instead of moping and feeling like I was always left out, nobody cared about me, I was never invited to the things that I wanted to be invited to, all the things that, and then of course, the whole cycle that I would lead myself through, I decided to start creating my own communities and invite people. So I was doing the inviting. I knew that I'd be there then. And then I also could be very intentional about including folks that weren't used to being included. I could be very intentional that everybody felt welcome and invited. I could be intentional about making sure that people felt seen and cared for, and so that I realized, like, that's where it all started, was because of the place where I was, and then it's something I realized I really needed for my own mental health, because otherwise I just went down this whole spiral of assuming what other people thought, even if that wasn't the case. But when I connected with people, I was able to disprove the things that I was trying to convince myself in my head. So that is how it all started. And so this whole online business thing has really been about community and connection from the beginning, which I always talked about. I said I always really wanted to connect people. Compassion was really important to me, but I never realized just what it all was about. And so that was really neat to kind of connect all the pieces this week. And so, like, a lot of this is about sharing compassion. It's about making people feel seen and cared and heard and understood. Like we've talked about a bunch of my other designs, the themes behind that. That's what motivated them. And then of course creating the Snickerdoodle Knits community. I still have a free Discord group for folks, and of course the design circle was something that I realized was really important for designers in particular. I felt like there wasn't any good spaces where I felt comfortable really connecting with people. So that was a whole thing I went down this week, and it was all because of one comment, which I thought was really interesting. Just one comment of somebody expressing gratitude for the community that I create. And anyway, so that was another thing that was kind of like an aha moment, and just kind of fitting all the pieces together and realizing it's about this whole journey that we're all on and encouraging each other. Catherine shared, assuming what other people think is the absolute worst. Yes. And it's interesting how, like, until you start to think about really assessing whether it's true or not, and really knowing how to understand if it's true or not, how easily we convince ourselves of those things. I'm pretty sure those are usually not positive things. But yeah, that was also something that came up in a coaching call that I had last year. Just how easy it is to assume that you know what somebody else on the other end is going to think of you, or mostly what they're going to think of you just based on one thing that they say, and we lead it into this whole rabbit hole that could be completely in the wrong direction. You are 1000% cooler than anyone else really is. Yes, Yes. And I would like to, like, I'm not like a therapist or anything, but I hope that what I do can help encourage other folks to think less cruelly about themselves, because it is important. And that's why I talk a lot about not only community, but understanding that we're all on a journey, we're all on our own journeys, and there's no point in comparing journeys. We don't need to do what anybody else is doing. We can do what actually is perfect for us. Of course, there's a whole lot more to that, but yes, absolutely. Let's see. Oh, Catherine had also shared 3 words for this past week: exhausting, long, exhausting, and thankful for the weekend. Yes, I love that. I hope you're able to get a bit of rest. I know that your day job is very demanding and can be very difficult. She's a nurse, right? No, you definitely work in the hospital. But I was actually on a call earlier today with somebody who is also a nurse and was talking about all that, and I thought of you. But I love that you have long and exhausting, and then you have thankful. Like, just finding something to be thankful for in the week, even if it hasn't come yet. That's good. Yes, ER nurse and been crazy busy. Yeah, I can't imagine. I admire your work, and I can't say I envy your work. I've considered a lot of, like, back in high school, I considered a lot of different career paths, like photography and graphic design and teaching and obviously engineering and architecture, and medical field was one that I knew it wasn't a good fit for me. But yes, I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you're able to get some. Do you work this weekend, Catherine? Do you get a bit of a break? I only have one other thought to share this week, so let me know what else has been happening or what you want to chat about. Also, a while back, I don't remember exactly when, a few weeks ago, I had done, you get your weekend off, good. And I'm not picking up. Oh yes, good. A while back, I had posted I think it was an Ask Me Anything in my polls, in my stories. And one person answered and said that they wanted me to talk about my design story. So I didn't really want to put that all into one of these chit chats, but I wondered if maybe I should go live next week sometime, or the next couple weeks, and talk about that. And folks could submit questions and stuff. So if you think that would be interesting, go ahead and let me know. The other thing is, anybody who knows Instagram tech, is there a way that we can create, Maria Elise would be interested in that. Okay. A way to create the captions. Lauren would also be interested. Okay, you guys should send me any questions. After this, I'll try to remember to post a question box in my stories and share any questions that you have specifically. And I figured I could kind of approach it like a featured designer segment for myself, I guess. Speaking of which, if you didn't catch it live yesterday and you haven't watched the replay, I hosted the first featured designer yesterday, Hannah Thiessen. She's the designer behind Hannibal Knits, and she's written the 2 slow knitting books and now owns By Hand Cereal publication. So she she was a lot of fun to talk to, and the replay is available if you haven't watched that yet. Yeah. Does anybody else have questions for me today? Anything exciting you want to share? So looking forward to my chat with Cam. Yes, I am too. So Cam and I have actually we were in a group together, and I don't remember if she joined the same time I did or not, but I started a little networking group to talk about business stuff with designers, with 3 other designers, and Cam was one of them. So that was a year ago. I think I connected with them in December, just over a year ago, and we started in January. So it's been a lot of fun to connect with her on a very personal level, chatting about business and stuff, which that was kind of what very organically led into the design circle, that I realized how much I loved talking to other designers and giving feedback and all that stuff. Can't wait for my design with Tippy Tree Yarn, the mystery knit along for Ella. Oh, I wish I could show you the sample, but oh, I love that one. Can't wait for you to see it. Maria Lisa's seen it because she test knit. So, did you purchase it, Catherine? Or are you just waiting for it to come out? I can't remember. I remember you talking about it, but yes, that is a lot of fun. Yes, you have your Ella kit already. Have you peeked at the colors, or are you good and waited until it all comes out? Rayleigh says it's so lovely. Yes, I loved that knit. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you do too. I hope everybody does. And that design, I'm trying to decide exactly. I feel like I'm not going to actually. You've been super good today. I hope you love it. It was fun because one of the colors Tiffany had sent to me, I was like, what do you think of this? With the other ones, like, she had sent me one, I think, to begin with, and then we kind of talked about a palette, and she created the 4 and asked me what I thought of the one, and I'm like, I feel like it needs a little bit more of this color. And so we kind of went back and forth, and she's like, yeah, I agree. And anyway, so it was just a little bit fun. I didn't influence it that much, but it was a lot of fun to just have a little tiny bit of influence in that, and I'd say that I helped with one of the colors. Which, yes, speaking of which, if you know of a dyer who would be interested in a different kind of collaboration with yours truly, I have an idea, and it's not design related. But I'm trying to find the right kind of dyer. Basically, I have color ideas in my head, but I don't want to start dyeing, so I want to collaborate with somebody to make them for me. But yes. Let's see. There's only 15 minutes left. If there's anything else been happening in your life, let me know. What kind of related? Like my collaboration idea doesn't actually have to do with designs, is what I was trying to say. Like, basically, I just want my own color palette of yarn, because I want these yarns accessible to me, and I would love to see them in the world, but Maria said she'll ask a friend. That sounds great. I also would like to make the collaboration with a person of color, if it works, or Black, Indigenous people of color, that kind of, just because I'm really wanting to support more folks like that, be intentional about uplifting folks that haven't had as many. Oh, okay, I know someone is thinking of doing a sock kit each month. Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's I don't I've never seen anybody do it, but I was like last year. I have all of the color palettes on my Pinterest. I have boards, secret board with all of this ideas and everything, and like I figured out which colors I would release first and then which ones. So I think I have like 20 colors to release in like 3 different sets. Anyway, I just have to find the perfect person to collaborate with. Yeah, so somebody else hopped on. I don't know if they're still on, but Kimberly, if you're here with us still, let us know what you've been knitting on lately and or what's been happening this week. Headed back to work, but glad I could make this chat. Have a great weekend, everyone. You too, Lauren. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad it worked, that you could join us on your lunch break. That was fun. Okay, so the last thought that I've had from this week is that there are... It's funny, I have a whole collection idea in my head. Yes. There are a lot of things that people tell us we should do. There are a lot of things we think we should do, but there's not a lot of things we actually need to do. So something that I've thought about a lot in the last year or so is really understanding our priorities and our intentions, and seeing kind of what the benefits of those things are. Like, if we actually do these things we think we should do, are those benefits important enough for us to actually do it? Because I'm very much of the belief that I would like to encourage folks to not do things that they think they should do just because they should do it. That especially pertains to business, but also in knitting, like feeling like you need to knit this pattern because everybody else is doing it, or you need to have this kind of photos, or things like this. Just having more alignment and intention in the things that we do is something that's been really important to me. So I was just thinking about how there's a lot of things that people might tell us we need to do or should do, a lot of things we think we should do, but there's not a lot of things we actually need to do. So yeah, just figuring out those things, it relieves a lot of burden, I think, when you realize actually you have more control over your life than we kind of give ourselves credit for. Kimberly said, "Hi, I just love seeing your work. I would love to get started, but don't know where to start." Okay, well, thank you for being here. It's good to meet you. I have some simple patterns. I'm trying to think. Actually, my endurance shawl is probably the easiest place to start. It's a garter stitch, which is just plain knitting with some increases. But probably the best place to start is, and you can send me a DM. I'm happy to chat more with you too. I have a YouTube channel that has tutorials, and the tutorial playlist is, I think it's pretty much organized according to skill levels. So it starts with a cast on, and then it goes into the knitting stitches, and then the purling stitches. So that will really teach you the techniques. But then if you want a pattern, the endurance shawl is a good place from my patterns. I can also, just give you instructions on how to make a simple garter dishcloth or things like that. Anyway, feel free to send me messages. Let me know what you're looking for, what you want to do, and I'm happy to help you. And I also have connections with folks who teach classes. I had started going down that route a year ago and realized it wasn't what I was as passionate about. I'm a lot more passionate about helping designers as far as like courses and things like that. So, but I do know folks that do teach classes that I connect you with. And you said you're originally from Nebraska and you now live in Colorado. So did you know that I am originally from Montana, went to school in Wyoming, did internships in Denver, and now I live in North Carolina. But that's fun. Maria Lee says her 2020 motto is what brings me joy. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. And I love that, at least for me from a business perspective, obviously now I think of a lot of stuff through the business filter, but pretty much everything that I do in my business brings me joy at different different times. So like things like doing the marketing and making the designs, and I actually was talking about this earlier today on the workshop. It's like kind of understanding that I can do things when they feel good. Sometimes you're not as motivated to design the thing or to write the Instagram post or things like that. But really being intentional about where our energy is and what is exciting us at that time. I love just following that. And, of course I talk all about seasons and stuff like that. So yes, I love that. Does anybody else have mottos or words of the year or things like that? I don't think I didn't put together a specific word. I guess I did do there was a planning workshop thingy that I attended in December, and there was a mindset coach on there who led us through a whole I don't even know the words for them because I'm not that familiar with it, but a thing where you like meditation kind of thing where you're envisioning yourself in the future and stuff like that. Anyway, the word that kept coming up for me for this year was compassion. So I'm definitely, my focus this year is compassion and connection, really. So yeah, that's why I'm here on these lives and I'm loving it. Gratitude, yes, I love that. Does anybody else have intentions or words or things for the year? One year, I had told the story of the On the Road Again collection. Well, the whole My Home Series collection, home series, and then the On the Road Again collection, and how that was all about finding a place to belong. So that year, I actually had my year of the word was belonging. Grace, that's a really good one, and extends to so many different parts. Obviously gratitude does too, but so many different parts of extending our self-grace, extending grace to others. That's something that I find really fascinating, is the connection between those two, extending grace to others and extending grace to ourselves. As we do more of one, it's easier to do more of the other. Yeah, I just find that, just as there's more of it in our interactions with other people, it's easier to do it for ourselves. Well, is there anything else that folks have been doing this week? Sorry, hope this hasn't felt like too boring of a conversation. There hasn't been quite as much storytelling and stuff, but I really appreciate you joining me. You need to extend grace to myself. Yes, I think that's probably most of us. Can release a grace to ourselves is harder. Yes. And something that has helped me just from feedback from somebody else was if you step back and think about how you would treat yourself if you were not yourself. if you were your best friend, how would you treat yourself? And we would treat ourselves a lot more kindly and give ourselves a lot more grace, be a lot more gentle. Yes, all of those things. Well, I guess I will wrap it up, but thank you so much for joining. Looking forward to chatting again next week. Kimberly, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me about getting started and all of that. And I just want to leave you with the same note. As always, you are on your own journey. So I hope that you enjoy it. And sending you big hugs because I love hugs, and extend that grace to yourself. Show yourself that love. Give yourself the hug, because you're important, you matter, and we appreciate you. So thank you so much for joining me for this knit chit chat, and I will be live again next week, on Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. And we talked about, I might go live next week to talk about my design journey. So I'll post that question in my stories in just a few minutes. But thanks so much for joining. Thanks for the love and the hearts and for all of your support in this journey. It definitely, like I shared before, it wouldn't be the same without all of you, without being able to connect, because it really is about so much more than designing and knitting. That's kind of just like a medium that I'm working through, but it's the connections that mean a lot to me. So thanks so much for being here, and have a wonderful weekend.